My hobby for the past 10 years or so has been around the world motorcycle adventure riding. It's something I do a lot, and I've traveled to places all around the world, including Japan, Turkey, Italy, Morocco and North Africa, as well as the Dalmatian coast, Croatia and Serbia, and I've been very fortunate to see many wonderful places around the world. My name is Larry Stern, and I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and I practice in St. Paul, Minnesota. Because I'm a physician, people always want me on rides. I can provide first aid if something happens. And there are several trips in which you can go through a rather difficult exotic place and no one gets injured. And there are other times in which you go on a trip and people can get all sorts of injuries, some minor, some serious. And I was on the trip for about, I believe, 10 days. About a week in the pre-trip in those initial orientation days, and I had been into Bhutan for about 3 or 4 days when the accident actually happened. We had left the capital city of Thimphu and were on a road traveling from west to east, following the road to the left as it hugged the mountain, and as I rounded the curve, there was a truck right in front of me. As the bike hit the ground, my left arm was against my side and the bike went down on the left, and I knew I had broken my ribs, and you get a reflex paralysis almost in which you can't inflate your rib cage. Because I'm a doctor, I knew there were basically two things that could be very serious. One would be a pneumothorax that can be fatal. At the very least, it can totally compromise one lung. And I remember sitting down on the side of the road saying, okay, you've done it now. Let's see, what happens over the next few minutes. One of the things that makes Bhutan very special is that it has a reputation, deservedly so, of being a very peaceful, beautiful place. And they have something there called the Index of National Happiness, and they actually try and rank or determine how happy their people are, which is sort of definitely unique and kind of gives you a flavor for how seriously they take this. But again, it's at the foothills of the Himalayas, and so you can see Everest from there, and it's a very, very exotic place. As they were wheeling me into the ER, again, because I'm a doctor, I knew that I had some serious injuries, and I reached into my wallet and I pulled out the card, and I remember it saying 2011 or 2012, and I was so anxious or upset I had to think for a moment, what year was this, And I said 10, and 10 definitely comes before 11 or 12. And I knew I had coverage, and I relaxed, because that was, I always carried the card with me on the trip, but never had thought about it very much. So I had a cell phone with me, and I immediately called the number on the card, even before I got any medical care, and notified MedjetAssist of my predicament. And that was even before the doctor came to treat me. During the time I was in the hospital, I'd get periodic calls from MedjetAssist telling me progress that was being made to evacuate me. And typically I'd get a couple of calls a day, and they were very welcome, because I knew that someone far away was working on this, but whenever they would contact me, it was very reassuring. It was made clear to me that transportation had been arranged, that they had been able to obtain a jet that was going to come pick me up. There's very few transactions that involve so much money and time and effort in which, it's done, and I could move on. I really appreciated that. I'm riding again. I rode 500 miles last week. And I have another trip coming up to Utah and Arizona in about 3 weeks. So I'm back on the bike and enjoying it. And hopefully won't have to use MedjetAssist again. I like your service and I recommend it to everybody I know who travels, but we have to stop meeting like this.